What's up? It's Ike Paz, and this is Hello from Nihon, and I'm with
Ako here.
And it's been a long time since we put out an episode. We've had our son, and our son is still breastfeeding, and
1 year old.
Oh yeah, he's over 1 year old, and we're waiting for that to calm down, and then we can get back to podcasting and creating content. But this particular episode is really important to us, especially Ako and I. It has to do with how we met, and this was all triggered by an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Okay, now
on Netflix.
On Netflix. Now, I didn't mention this to you, Ako, that much. I might have talked about it a little bit, but this is a very special show for me. Okay, when I was a little boy, growing up in Miami and in Ohio as well.
Spoiler ahead?
Yeah, this is spoilers. This is about an Unsolved Mysteries episode about Japan and the spirits and the ghosts of Japan after the tsunami, not September, but March 11th disaster that took place, which also led to us meeting. Okay, so Unsolved Mysteries is a show when I was a kid, like a kid from, this was like 1985, 86, 87, 89, around there, early 90s even. There was a show called Unsolved Mysteries where, to me, this was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen on TV.
Okay.
The theme music was terrifying. The host, even though he looked like a very nice gentleman, was also, in his voice, the way he delivered information was scary. The reenactments of these different crimes and unexplained situations were scary. Everything was creepy about this.
Like a spiritual related or?
Well, that's the thing. The show had many different kinds of unsolved mysteries. And every time, each show had 3 stories in it, about, I believe, like each one was 10 minutes, I believe. And after each show, they would categorize the next unsolved mystery. Each one have a category, and it was like almost like a lotto to see how creepy the next show is going to be.
Okay.
So some of them would be missing persons. Another one would be the supernatural. Another one would be unsolved murder, like that. And even though it was very terrifying, I watched every single episode. I think I just couldn't stop watching it. It came on Wednesdays, where I lived at night. So it was terrifying, but very entertaining. So Netflix has renewed Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
And you watched the intro with me. At the very end, you saw like a guy's face.
Yeah.
He's since passed away.
Okay.
But he was a host. His name was Robert Stack.
Okay.
He was a host of the original Unsolved Mysteries. Okay.
So this is only one episode I watched because their theme, the topic was really important for us. It's about their 2011, 3/11.
March 11th.
March 11th, their very big earthquake and a tsunami.
And nuclear explosion.
Nuclear explosion.
Power plant explosion.
Yeah, nuclear power plant explosion, right? But their episode is basically about tsunami, right? In Ishinomaki, with Miyagi prefecture,
yeah, it's
right?
northern Japan, Tohoku region.
Tohoku region, it's very up north, and there, we live in Kyushu. It's pretty far.
Yeah, it's the south.
It's southern Japan. Southern part in Japan. So for me, it's like at that time I couldn't believe, right?
Okay, yes, you couldn't believe it. And my question to you, when 3/11 happened, this earthquake that triggered a tsunami, that triggered the nuclear power plant explosions, 2 of them. This earthquake, I believe, happened around 2:30.
Yeah, the PM.
2:30 p.m.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think it was a Friday or a Wednesday, I forget when.
Pretty much the weekday.
It was a weekday.
Yeah.
Before I answer this, I want to know, where were you?
Okay.
This is before I met you. Where were you on March 11th at 2:30?
At 2:30, I was in the monthly apartment. I was with my ex-boyfriend who visited me in Fukuoka. This area, right? And then we are watching TV just a regular TV, and we got like a notification, like alert, and it said there's a very big earthquake happened in Tohoku area, and it was pretty big, right?
But you felt nothing, of course.
No, we didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
It's too far to feel anything, right? But still, we were like, oh, there's an earthquake. Looks like very terrible, but that's all at the time. And then
was it 9-point level?
Yeah. They're biggest in the world. It's
At the
the
time,
documentary.
it broke a record. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely broke a
At
record.
that time. Yeah. Then later, the TV show all suddenly changed to the like emergency news, and we saw their video. I mean their live video of the tsunami.
Giant tsunami.
But it's like it was too terrifying to believe, you know. For us, we didn't feel anything, and we were just like a regular life. So we just feel like, what's that? There's like movie or something like that. Just like 9/11. So I couldn't believe.
9/11,
you know,
yeah.
9/11. Just it's like I even feel like I was watching a movie or something. Yeah, and then you know, over and over they updated the missing people and the people and what's happening
Dead
and
people.
as a alert, and just it's terrible. That's all I could say. You know, I just couldn't believe.
Yeah. That was your experience. Mine was at the time I was living in Tokyo, so I felt that was the biggest earthquake I ever felt in my life. I was in my room getting ready to go and teach English, and I was getting ready to go, and then I sat to watch a little TV, and then the room started shaking, and this really, really shaking hard, and I never felt. I mean, I felt hundreds of earthquakes living in Tokyo, and some here in Kyushu, but this one was off the charts. Anyways, it got done. You know, I was shaken up. I went downstairs, and it was really interesting. Everyone was looking up. Everyone who was outside, I went downstairs, went outside because I was afraid of aftershocks. Everyone was looking up into the sky. I don't know why. Anyways, from there, I walked to, because at the time, all the trains were stopped, of course, and you couldn't get any kind of cell service, right? Because everyone's calling at the same time. All the cell phones were down, right? I mean, they weren't down, but everything was jammed up. So I just walked to the city ward office. That was my first instinct. And somehow I got a text message to my friend AJ. And then I met AJ at this bar that opened up really early in the afternoon. And then that's where we saw the tsunami on TV. And I'm like, AJ turned to me, man, this is terrible. I wonder how many people are going to die. And I said, I give a very low estimate. I thought Japan was prepared for that. I thought, you know, they would have evacuated a lot of people. I think it's going to be around 1,000 people or so. And he's like, no, it's going to be thousands of people. And we're watching this thing come, and my friend AJ predicted it, that people didn't evacuate correctly. It was disorganized, the evacuation. They were ready, but there's a lot of false sense of security people have. Well, my house won't get affected. My house will be fine. And there's also a very tragic story of a nursery school that they had the option to get in the bus and go up. They had plenty of time, but the principal decided against it and to stay put. All of them gone. Every single one. That's fucking heartbreaking.
It's not nursery, it's an elementary school.
Excuse me, elementary school. Pretty sure it's a nursery herd, but okay. Anyways, I predicted 500, 1,000. He said over 10,000. He was right. I was wrong. I was sadly wrong.
15,000?
15,000 confirmed. Over 2,000 missing.
Yeah.
Okay. Still, and we can make that. We can assume that they've passed. Okay. And you know, and after that, I have a little bit more story here. The nuclear power plants started exploding in Fukushima. And that's when my buddy AJ, and some other friends said, "Hey, let's get the hell out of here." I mean, what the hell? It's gonna be this nuclear dust coming in. So we all went as far as we could down south. That's when I went to Kyushu, where I am now, and that's where I met you, my future
That's
wife.
right. We should talk about this in next episode.
A different
maybe.
episode, yeah, definitely. So that's my story, what happened on 3/11.
Yeah, so their documentary, basically it's a documentary, right? And there's there's a
Unsolved Mysteries. What was the title? Unsolved Mysteries episode. Let me look it up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so there are 2 or 3. There are people for interviewed, like a monk and their psychic, one psychic lady and the regular guy, and working for I think working for like city office or something. And he said the area was had a tsunami before a long time ago, so they had like a guideline for the tsunami. They did correctly. Just the tsunami is too big for that. So they did correctly. They did alert, but tsunami was too big, and they didn't expect that's so big, right? And so you said that there. Some people say, "Oh, you don't come over here." Maybe some people are, but also like, and older people, they say that I can't move anymore, and I don't wanna leave this house until I die or something like that. There's those kind of people too.
And they went down with their house.
Yeah.
Also, people in the hospitals. I remember seeing a video. This is also very terrifying. Of a hospital near the ocean, and I saw there was a video. There was a guy laying in bed. Mm-hmm. He was looking out the window, laying in bed as this tsunami just came over him. Mm. Yeah. And just to clarify, folks, we're talking about Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, Season 2, Episode 4, Tsunami Spirits is called the title of the episode.
Yeah, so after their episode is about after tsunami, there's many people reported that they saw ghosts, right? It's about that. And
and to Akko's point, I remember soon after, like during the summer, mm-hmm. after March 11th, 3/11. People were. I was hearing stories mm-hmm. about ghosts already. This was years ago. I was hearing stories about ghosts that people were experiencing in that region.
Yeah. I read books, mainly books and interview or something. And on March, right? You thought it's a warm? No. In Tohoku, it's super cold. And after tsunami...
No, in the summertime, I said.
Oh, yeah, summertime is after a few months later. No? Yeah, so there's a people who died because of tsunami. They flood and they drown and die. But also there's people who died for the frosting, coldness, because after tsunami it snowed a lot. Yeah, and some people couldn't evacuate, and then they were still in the water, and they
died from exposure.
They died from exposure.
Exposure to the elements.
Okay, exposure. Yeah, so there's a monk. He said I'm sorry, I'm too sad right now. And he said he realized that the nature is too rough, too crucial after tsunami. Why?
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a lot.
The monk was saying, after these great disasters, how can nature be so cruel to us with this added level of difficulty with the snow and the winter and the cold weather? Yeah,
it's really true, isn't it?
It's
Yeah, I remember the first episode about ghosts. The documentary is not only about ghosts, but it's about including interview and what happened. Right? It was a really good documentary to me.
Yeah, it was very informative about the disaster, and I was crying about the guy. By the way, spoilers ahead. Spoilers if you care. Spoilers. There was a man who lost his entire family, his 2 daughters and his wife, and he was going over how he found his eldest daughter hanging in the bamboo trees, and he didn't experience a ghost. I'm not talking about ghosts here in this situation. Just this poor man that my heart went out. I was crying when I was watching this. He found his eldest daughter hanging up there in the bamboo trees, head down, her face looking pristine, without any scratches, without any scars.
Just as if she's sleeping.
Just as if she was sleeping. And, of course, the waves, the tsunami put her there. And then he found his wife a couple miles away somewhere else. And then they found his baby girl in the mud. In the mud. And I don't know how this man could still... I don't know how I would be if that would happen to me.
Yeah, and there's a lady who lost a 3-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And other families, including her elder sister, is alive. But she was so sad to lose her baby, and she always said that I wanna die. She even told their elder sister that if I die, I'll be happy. I'm happy to go to paradise so that I can go with the 3-year-old the brother. And then
now we're going into the supernatural.
Yeah, supernatural.
We're talking about ghosts now. So
yeah.
My story has nothing to do with ghosts.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, please continue.
Yeah, and then she's not supposed to say in front of her daughter, right? But she was so sad, and she was depressed, and she was mentally unstable. And one day...
Yeah, but she told her daughter, if I go, don't worry, I'll be happy in heaven.
Yeah. It's not supposed to say.
You're not supposed to say that to anybody.
But she was so sad. But she was mentally unstable. But one day, they were doing their dinner. She heard one of his toy, their 3-year-old son's toy, start ringing and making music.
Yeah, and the only way you can apparently do that is there's a manual switch.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any automatic function, so you're supposed to switch it on to make the little train say choo-choo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it went off by itself, and she took it as a sign that her departed son, I believe 4 or 3 years old, is around.
Yeah,
around them.
Always around her.
But before you continue, I think you got to explain to the people listening about. Mm-hmm. You can say in most. I want you to explain this, but in most Asian cultures, there's this idea of ancestor worship.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And having these altars. For lack of a better word, an altar. Most homes, a proper home in Japan, they have these altars.
Altars for obutsudan?
So they have the shashin of the dead people,
the pictures
and the candles and everything.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
somewhere like a stage,
an altar, like a religious altar, where you can always go and worship. Mm-hmm. Pray for is maybe the better word, and ask things to your ancestors.
Oh, you don't do that in America?
We don't have of course we pray for our dead. We're not savages, but we don't have an altar in the house.
Well,
every time we go to Izuka,
mm-hmm. or my departed grandma's place.
Yeah, we always go to the altar. Every time
pray.
You enter a home and you ask for the ancestors to. You just talk to them in your head. You say, "Oh, thank you for having me here. I hope you're fine. Thank you for letting me back in the house."
That's right.
So that's about it when it comes to the altars in the home. Let's get back. Let's talk more about the actual episode of the Unsolved Mysteries Tsunami Spirits. Mm-hmm. Remember the psychic lady?
Yeah. The person, I forgot her name, but she's like a mid-40s or something, and ever since she was like a little girl, she could see their dead people, right? She thought it's a normal for them, but it seems like not.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk to you about, because that's very, very, very common in Japan.
But not common in America?
No. Okay, of course we have people in America who claim they talk to the dead.
Yeah, they're the word, not psychic.
Clairvoyant.
No.
Someone who does a seance.
Insidious, the people. You called there some other name.
What did I say?
Paranormal
investigators?
No.
Ghostbusters?
Oh, no, not like that.
Yeah, of course we have those kind of people.
But I have some friends who can see ghosts.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's my point. I've never in the United States met someone who claims they're in contact with dead people. But in Japan, I've met several. It's never been a boy or a man. It's always been a woman.
Really?
That I've met.
Not really. I know some.
Okay, I'm sure.
Some guys.
I'm just giving you my experience. Okay. Several people, just regular, everyday. They're not like professional psychics. Usually, when someone claims they can see dead people and stuff, they're usually trying to, use that quote unquote skill to make money, right?
Not really.
Okay, in America, I'm talking about in America. Okay, like if you see that, they're probably working somewhere selling that. But the people here that I've met that claim they have that ability, Japanese people, right? They're everyday folk.
That's right. They're just they just can see.
They're just like the ones I met are all of them women, by the way, throughout my 20 years in Japan. And all of them, work at office jobs and whatnot. And some of them, not of course, it's not like a huge majority of women that I've met here claim to talk to dead people, but a lot of them have that claim. Like your friend.
Yeah, I have several. Like Ogi and Nara, right? Yeah, they're just like a girl, and they just can see. They don't make money with that. They just can see it. It's rather like bothering sometimes for them.
What, watering?
Bothering.
Oh, it bothers them.
Yeah, bothers them because they don't want to see some people like that, right? And one of my friend Ogi. She said like when she's sleeping, someone just open up her laptop and she's typing.
Wait. So she had a poltergeist encounter.
Yeah.
There was like this entity actually moved something. It opened up the laptop, started typing.
Yeah. And it was so bothering for her. And she just said, shut the fuck up. It's noisy in the midnight.
In English or Japanese?
I believe in Japanese.
Okay.
And then it stopped.
All you gotta do is be rude, and they listen, they obey you.
And then she complained to me like, "Don't you think it's rude? They'll open up my laptop and then typing something in the midnight, and she will hear. She doesn't know they're bothering my sleep." And that's right.
And you believe that this happened?
Yeah, I guess. The other one is she was working for Uminoye. How do you say Uminoye?
Uminoye is like a beach house.
That's a beach
house.
So
in the summertime in Japan, along the coast, you'll see these little, for lack of a better word, kiosks or kind of like
you can also relax.
Yeah, and get drunk.
Yeah,
it's that's like these summer houses that appear, and they're just the little shops where you can drink and enjoy yourself. But they close down right around September or
That's
something.
right.
Yeah.
So she was she's like a seasonal worker at the time, and she was working for the beach house at the time. And during her like a break time, she was laying down in her car, and she saw like someone's like passing by or watching her. I don't know. Well, he was wearing like a World War II style, like a military clothes.
I saw.
I don't talk about it right now before we sleep.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I saw that in Yoyogi.
That's a real people.
That's a real person. In Yoyogi Park is basically like where foreigners, gaijin, hang out in the daytime. They just like to congregate in the park. And there was always, when I used to hang out there was always this Japanese guy dressed up in Nazi garb, like a Nazi uniform. He'd always like set up a lawn chair and just sit there with his Nazi uniform.
Real Nazi or World War II Japanese?
No, Nazi. He knew what he was doing.
Okay.
And I thought it was funny, and I'll tell you why. Because obviously it was a hook. He was sitting there in front of all these foreigners. Okay. And he just wanted that attention.
Yeah,
and of course you'd have the foreigners, fuck you, how dare you wear that? And I'm like, yeah, how dare he wear that? But you're playing right into his trap. That's what he wants you to do. Yeah. I'm sorry to get off the ghost topic.
Okay. Yeah, that's my friend's experience. I have some other friends who has like kind of experience, but I have no experience like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw in the show there, the lady was talking about and she was driving car. And she saw the three like university boys or young man stopped her car, and they were obviously like dead people. She said that when she sees ghosts, they look like a reflection in their like a window,
translucent a little
translucent.
bit. You can see through them. Kind of.
Yeah.
I think that's what she said.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
In
Japanese, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but anyways, she could tell they are dead, and then they asked her, but she felt like sorry for them, so she stopped, and then she didn't ignore them. And what happened? And they said like we want to go home, but we don't know how to get to home.
That's sad.
Yeah, and she said like you know what? Then you're dead.
That's so mean, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, but they should understand the situation, right? And also, she explained like, okay, so it happened 9 years ago now.
Jesus, 9 years ago.
That's right, 9 years ago. And other time, I don't know how many years later, but their tsunami,
wiped out
everything, and right now they are reclaim their land, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing. They even though like a living people cannot tell where it was and where was it. Everywhere, right?
So yeah, the landscape has changed dramatically. You mean
dramatically? Yeah. They don't know anything. That's why there's many like a ghost who cannot go home, and then just she feels so sorry about that.
Yeah. So Japanese, spirituality when it comes to their dead is very much like Mexican spirituality, just like
they come back.
They come back to their homes.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we have like altars.
Like
we believe like when you lost your relative or family, or grandma, granddad, grandpa, grandma, we believe they protect us from the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The other world.
Like a guardian angel.
Yeah, guardian angel. Yeah, actually, I have seen one like a psychic lady. She was doing very laughing.
I'm just funny because she's the one who. Okay, we have a lot of those in America. The ones who make a living off of their psychic powers or their claim. Okay.
Yeah. But she told me like there's a guardian spirit. You say guardian spirit. My ancestors are protecting me, but it's not my grandma or grandpa, but grandpa or mom. Something like that.
Oh.
And they are very strong, and I'm very like protected, well protected. I was so happy.
That's cool.
By the way, they are my mom's side.
Your mom's side.
Yeah. So we believe they are my ancestor protectors. That when I hear about the American version, like you have a guardian angel, right? It sounds so interesting to me.
Yeah, we also have the idea. We've talked about this before. We have the idea. It's not as established as it is here in Japan, but we have the idea that our departed loved ones are looking after us. We have that idea too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just you guys have really committed to it with your altar and your pictures of your departed loved ones in the altar.
Yeah.
And you guys often will leave food.
Actual
that's
right.
real life food, actual snacks that the departed used to enjoy in their life.
That's right, beer or
snacks or whatever, and leave it around the altar as like an offering.
And
this idea of an offering or sacrifice, because if you're giving food away, that means you're not eating it, right? This is ancient and throughout culture, and the idea to sacrifice that the god or gods. By the way, I don't know if you guys know. I'm not a spiritual person myself. I don't have any affiliations with any church, or I was raised Roman Catholic. I have no affiliation anymore. But I'm a fan of mythology. I'm a fan of history and what led our ancestors to act the way they did. This idea of sacrifice, so that the god or gods can listen to you. That the gods want blood, or they want you to give up something important.
Yeah. I want to talk about like in different episode about like our different view of the like gods or evil or possessing or this kind of spiritual things.
Well, possession is perfect to this episode because we haven't talked about the possessed lady.
Yeah.
Remember the possessed lady in the episode of Mysteries? Can you talk about that?
She's like I don't know how old is she didn't show her face, but it just actually a story about a monk, né? And he said that he had one lady in there that she was so struggling and like 7 p.m. or something like that, and then she said ever since after their earthquake, like lots of the like spirits came into her, and there she's really it's really painful for her, right? And not only one, there are several spirits that came in her body, so she feel there's the fear
of them. She feels their fear.
Yeah, she feels their fear, and she like experienced their like a memory, right? That is really painful for her. You remember the episode about the little boy and the girl? It's so like, sad. Can you explain that?
Yeah, there was a little girl who was trying to escape the tsunami, and she had her brother. She was holding her brother's hand. They were running away. Of course, this story already ends in tragedy because, I mean, I doubt any of us can outrun a tsunami. A little girl with her little brother in tail has no chance, zero chance, and she had to let go of her brother, and finally, she was taken by the tsunami, and they both died.
She saw he went away in front of her.
Washed away
in front of her. Yeah, and the girl was in her, right? And there she was like her hands are open. So the monk, the guy, there tried to hold her hands, but she's no, I want mom. You remember?
Yeah, so the monk's wife decided to hold her hand.
And so sad. And I can, because we have daughter and son, and I couldn't help to relate it to her. To them. Yeah.
Me neither. Me too. I couldn't help. Even if, let's say that lady was just lied. Let's say she just lied. I imagine that scenario must have happened.
Not life. Only one.
I mean,
several, many.
Over 15,000 died that day. It just one afternoon. It was a 2:30 afternoon. Nobody knew they're gonna die. And that man who lost his whole entire family didn't think that would have happened. It's crazy that in one afternoon, so much can change. Your life can not change. Excuse me. Your life can be altered drastically in the way these people had experienced these losses. And I'm sure that scenario played out with adults with children trying to escape.
Yeah.
One fucking afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But you remember, she's telling their story not to split to the world. Then she could nani?
What do you mean spread the word?
Spread this story. That she doesn't want people know about this story all over the world, right? But I don't think she's lying. I think.
Okay, maybe I misspoke. Maybe she's suffering from a psychological issue, right? We have to understand all the possibilities, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm completely on board with the sociologist that was in the show. They had a sociologist from I forgot what university, and
Tohoku University.
And he said, and like I'm in complete agreement. I don't believe in ghosts. But there are some things that are ambiguous and not understood. Certain experiences, unsolved situations or whatever, and that we have to leave that space open. Until we can maybe solve it someday or understand it someday. But it's okay that it's ambiguous.
Yeah, and also I think it's not the one thing I didn't like about Unsolved Mystery. I don't want to mix up their story with the other just scary ghost story. It's like for a Tohoku people, for the Ishinomaki people, there's a ghost story. It's not only there's a ghost, but it's like how can I explain that? Like their ghosts, they need ghost to heal them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was one of the things I studied in university, PTSD, and there are many. We say in psychology, coping mechanisms, ways to deal with our stress. Some of them are maladaptive, not good for us. We just sometimes we cut ourselves, for example. That's one way people cope, or drinking lots of alcohol. There's many ways to cope, right? Some better than others, right? So a lot of the people on that show thought that these ghosts was somehow therapeutic.
That's right.
It helped people.
Yeah, just like that. Oh, maybe I didn't finish the story. The 3 years old, the boy story. The mother who lost a 3 years boy.
Yeah, 3-year-old boy.
Yeah, she was like she was rather willing to die for the boy, but when she heard the toy was ringing, automatically for some reason, and then she felt that the boy is looking after, watching her, and at some point her like way of thinking got changed dramatically, like or he's watching me, then I have to be strong, I have to be a good mother for like the daughter is still alive, right? So the 3 years old boy ghost, maybe it's ghost, healed her in a way, and now she's living better life. Do you say better life? Feel better. I say feel better than before.
Yeah, not a better life.
Not a better life. Yeah, feel better. So like sometimes the ghost story can heal, and also the taxi drivers.
Oh yeah, that's a really important thing, and maybe you should put some information before you talk about taxi driver stories. So I mentioned a sociologist recently. I forgot his name, but in his class, he wanted his students to present a project idea. And they're like, hey, how about we talk about the ghost of Tohoku after the tsunami, right? And of course, they wanted some type of data they can look at and have on paper. And this was very interesting because I was hearing these stories come out of Tohoku like months after the tsunami about these taxi drivers that were logging in customers, but these customers vanished. And it happened a number of times, right?
That's right. There are many, not only one case, and many cases. So when you got their customer in taxi, they log in, and then log out when they leave. But there are no one to pay for their like a fee. So like most of the case, the taxi drivers pay from their pocket money. You say pocket money?
That's right.
Yeah, pocket money.
Paid out of pocket.
Paid out of their pocket. Paid out of pocket.
That's right.
Paid out of pocket.
That's right.
Yeah, because the taxi driver is also survivor, someone who lost their family or relatives. So they are rather willing to let the ghost to take them to their house or somewhere they want to go.
They can sympathize.
Yeah, they can sympathize. Yeah, it's really good story. But it's a way how to heal themselves. And also there they explain like a Tohoku area is like a rather late, like a they,
the more traditional, old-fashioned.
Yeah, old-fashioned.
Conservative.
So they have more like a ghost, like a spiritual culture still there. So maybe there's a more story about the ghost. They explain like in cold. We have many like earthquakes experienced, right, in Japan.
Fires, earthquakes. Two atomic bombs dropped.
Yeah. And they didn't hear so many ghost story at the time. Kobe earthquake, atomic bomb, Nagasaki, Hiroshima. They didn't hear about the ghost story so much. But why Tohoku?
Well, that's the thing. Why Tohoku? And I was thinking about that. Tohoku is very special with tsunami because the bodies were never recovered. When the atomic bombs, this is if I was inclined to believe in ghosts, I would think, well, with the atomic bombs, people were just disintegrated, right? The people that did die, they gave them proper burials. Not burials, rites. And same thing with all the earthquakes, Kobe, Osaka, all these big earthquakes. eventually they found
Yeah,
a lot of
most
the
of
bodies.
cases, yeah.
But with this tsunami, thousands of people were
Yeah.
never recovered.
Yeah,
2,000 people are missing.
Yeah, still.
Over 2,000 people are missing.
Maybe under the ocean.
Who
right?
knows where they are?
Yeah.
And they were given no rights, given none of the ritual that's required in Buddhism or Shintoism. None of it. So maybe those are restless spirits that are coming back.
Yeah. They want the living people to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I think so too. Yeah. Yeah, the possessing lady, she's 大変ね. It's really rough. And I have no friends who were possessed before.
That's something in my culture. Possession usually happens with demons.
そう、それ私言いたかったんだよ。
You wanted to say that?
Yeah, I wanted, But I was wondering if we should do that in this episode or different episodes because,
Well, it's fresh on your mind. You can go.
Yeah, so when I watched movie, like the possessing, most of the cases is by evil, the devil, right?
A demon.
Demon.
Or
right?
maybe the devil, yes.
Yeah, then I don't know what the difference is. But anyways,
Devil is Lucifer, who was struck down from heaven by the sword of God, which is Michael. He's another archangel. Mm-hmm. And the devil took 2/3, I believe, of all the other angels to hell with him when he was cast out. And those other angels were turned into demons. They're not as powerful as the devil.
Okay. The Lucifer, I know the name a lot.
Son of light, yeah.
Yeah. So when I watched the movie about like exorcism, the most of the case they ask, what's your name, right? For me it was really interesting. It's rather funny. Why the other time, why are they asking the name?
You want the answer? I can give you the answer.
I know.
I know. Very long answer.
I know the answer now.
But people don't know. People who are listening might not know it.
Yeah, but in Japan, you remember they didn't ask their name, right? Boy and girl. We don't really ask names.
Yes, you do, but you have a different way of doing it. To know someone's name is to invoke, to call them, to summon them. So in one of my favorite mythologies of in the Odyssey, when Odysseus blinded the Cyclops and got on his boat, helped all his men, the men that survived. He was escaping. He said, "Hey, Polynices." By the way, that was the Cyclops' name. I did it. Odysseus blinded you, motherfucker. Kind of like basically told him who he was. He committed hubris. He committed arrogance. He told him his name. He told him, "I tricked you. I'm smarter than you. Even though you're big and strong, I tricked you." After he escaped, Polynices begged his father. His father happens to be the god of the ocean, Poseidon. Father, Odysseus tricked me. He tricked me. He's tricked one of your sons. And then Poseidon made Odysseus' life a living hell. Killed all his men. Anyways, that's a whole different story. You also have the story of Moses. Moses is at the top of Mount Sinai. And he sees the burning bush and he asks God, "Who are you? What's your name?" God says, "I am what I am." Something along those lines. Mm-hmm. He's not giving up his name, right? And he's also saying, "I am everything," at the same time, right? So to have someone's name, even when it comes to like magic or whatever, you're always looking for that name to control or to invoke that spirit of demon. So if I say Ako, you're going to turn your head quickly because someone's calling you. I'm summoning you. I'm invoking you. In Japanese Shintoism, you shake the bell to summon the god.
Yeah.
So you are calling them.
They're god, yes, but often the possessing, we don't really ask name. Just the chanting. So when I watch in the movie or documentary, it's often like Lucifer and like the name I always hear, and I was wondering, Lucifer is so only one, right? So he must be very busy to possessing other people. That's what my impression. It's not. I'm not making like a funny story or something.
It's okay.
But at the time, I really thought, Lucifer, why are you like possessing so many people?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But here, like Nani, like the the documentary, that he doesn't ask their name, like boy and girl, just they try to send them to the other world, right? It's not real. It's very different. Like in America, Western
cultures, yeah.
Western cultures, like demon and devil, the possessing people. But here, well, there are sometimes like 狐の神様、お稲荷様
the fox gods.
The fox god, they're possessing sometimes. But God doesn't do that so much.
But the kitsune gami, he's more like not a demon, but he is villainous and he helps and hurts people.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
He's a trickster.
Yeah.
And a trickster is another common type of spiritual creature. You can find in many cultures.
Oh, yeah? It's interesting. You should talk about it in different things.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I like this kind of things. Yeah, that's my impression. It's very different with, like, I don't know other Asian cultures, but at least in Japan and in Western. Like a demon, evil, and here more like a human ghost. You know what I mean?
Oh, but but the human ghosts can also be in Japanese culture terrible creatures.
Yeah. That's right.
Like sometimes if a very important person dies in Japan, like
They
a daimyo,
curse.
a lord, and let's say like a week later after the person dies, there's a terrible earthquake.
That's right.
They're gonna assume that important person did it.
Yeah.
So they're gonna deify and make that person a god.
That's right.
So in Japanese culture, if you die, a human can become a god.
That's right.
So to appease, to make that human spirit happy, they will deify and make it into a god.
Yeah, we have many gods. We say like Yaoyorozu no Kami, like 800万, 8 millions, more than 8 millions gods are here. You know, let's like Sento Chihiro, the Spirit Away.
I love that movie.
Yeah, they are all gods in their bathhouse, right?
But there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, hierarchy.
It's not like they're all equal.
That's right.
Equal
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, you know, we even say like even one grain of rice, there's a god, so we shouldn't waste, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's what that all comes from. Not it comes from, but you can see that lady. She made a whole empire out of it. What's the lady who prays something shiny?
Huh?
What the Japanese lady who went to the West and sold this idea to Westerners. Komari-san?
Komari?
What's her name?
Komari?
Komari-san, yeah. She took this idea and she wrote a book about it. About if you know about decluttering your home and about taking the things that you once loved that are just in the way now to thank it and then to throw away.
That's right.
That's so Japanese. The thing has a spirit.
Yeah.
But of course you can't say that because all the Christians are.
そうなんだ.
I guess I'm assuming. If I'm a marketer,
it's pretty normal to me. Though.
Yeah, I know, but if I'm a marketer and she's selling this book, I'm like, okay, you can't write in this story that each object has some spirit because they're gonna piss off a lot of religious people in America.
Yeah.
Just tell them to say thank you for this object, right? But the real meaning behind that is that this. I don't know, I'm holding my cell phone now. If I'm about to throw this away, I gotta thank it.
Yeah.
But in Japanese culture, this particular cell phone I have in my hand has its own essence, its own force, its own spirit. And then I thank it and I throw it away.
Yeah. So like culturally, like hundreds, like old stuff, like a furniture or something. If you use like hundreds or certain like a long time, they get a spirit inside. And in Edo era period, they have like a yokai no sa, like a marching.
Yeah, yokai
parade.
Yeah, you see that in Ukiyo-e, right?
Yeah, ukiyo-e っていうか、yokai no e.
Band march.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It's a lot of it. I think it looks creepy, but yeah.
Yeah, I have seen that one before in the other museum. It was really
me too. It's really good.
Yeah, so I think I like that way. That's why, like last time when you threw away their flip flops, I said I told you to say thank you and throw away, right?
Yeah.
When my daughter is throwing something away, you gotta say thank you before you throw away. Thank you, underwear.
For your service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that way.
You like the culture? Yeah, I like
culture.
it too. It's grown on me.
Yeah, but go back to their tsunami story. Yeah, so I think the the tsunami story documentary explain a lot about like a Japanese spiritualism, how we understand like
Life and death.
life and death. So it was really interesting. But at the same time, I just don't want people. It's like just a ghost story.
Well, we don't.
You know.
Listen, in America, we respect that. I think the monk made some incorrect assumptions about the West. So the monk said that Japanese see this world and the hereafter as it's like a thinly veiled, like a thin piece of paper, like a Japanese door, like one of those Japanese sliding doors. It's very thin, and you can the boundary is very thin. Basically, what he's saying. We have that concept too in the West. We 100% have that concept too. Even like right now, we're approaching Halloween. Right.
Yeah.
This is an ancient culture, Celtic ancient culture from Northern Europe, where it's pretty much universally, well, in the West, understood as this time where the other side, the ghostly world, is really close to our world.
They're like obon, right?
Obon, exactly,
but
like Japanese obon.
But I think he just said mean like it's a very like a thin paper, just like a thin paper. I think he just wanted to explain like we always feel like ancestors or like dead people around us protecting us or something like that. That's not like a hereafter world or something. We always live together with like ancestors or something.
Okay.
Yeah, like sometimes before I go to sleep, I say like, "Oh, my departed grandpa, thank you very much for protecting me always, and I'm doing good and blah blah blah," and sleep.
I hope you don't say blah 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 to your to your loved ones.
I don't say that. Yeah. But this is one of the Nani culture I really like in Japan.
About Japan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's about it, right?
Yeah. So I really strongly recommend to watch the episode. I don't know other episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Me too. I strongly recommend it, and it's more sad than scary, in my opinion.
Yeah,
more sad than scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially. Yeah. Okay. I said too much. We talked too much.
Yeah, we talked too much. Yeah.
Take care.
And we will try to.
No, don't make any promises. I mean, our son still needs us, still needs you more than anything.
When he starts going to school, let's do it more.
Yeah. Okay. Be good. Take care.
Take care. See you later.
Anything you want to say?
Thank you very much for listening to us.
Ciao. Bye bye.
Ciao. Bye.
またね。